Okay, well, I decided to make a video about these solar lights I got. Unfortunately, it looks like I made a mistake on a certain online auction site, and I was looking for metal housing solar lights, security lights, and I thought I found some because the listing very plainly said aluminum alloy case instead of ABS plastic, and they look competent enough. I looked at the photo; it looked like they were metal, or mostly metal. But I don't have a lot of time because I have eye problems, so I can't spend hours staring at one listing on a certain online auction site. So I just went ahead and bought them. They were rather expensive. And I got them in the mail, and sure enough, they're plastic. There's no metal. The only thing metal is the screws. So I goofed again. So I started looking at them, and I gotta say the design is terrible. So there's a bracket that you mount it on. That's not on here right now. So you got a button here, but here, let me use the other one. There's a rubber button here. That's to program the light. But I'm not sure what that's supposed to. I guess that rubber button just sits there on top of the light housing. That's weird. You can't tilt the panel very far. And the other reason I bought them is because the panels have the appearance of being on a swivel. Well, they're not. And they've just drilled a couple holes in there and put screws in there so they don't swivel. I think this is a typical design problem you see on a lot of products that come from a certain place. They have the function, they have a appearance of a function, but the actual function, it does not meet the appearance. It's just meant to look a certain way. And obviously the panel doesn't tilt enough. In fact, they could have just made the panel not tilt at all. There's no point. There's just no point. And both lights came like this. So I started looking at them, and I go into the usual mode I go into, which is the engineer mode. Well, I done wasted my money. I gotta do something. I gotta get my return on investment. So I started looking at how I could. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to return them, even though the listing is a lie. So I started looking at how can I salvage these lights, because they look pretty neat. They're made to look like a security camera, and I like them. So I started taking them apart, and as far as the waterproofing, it's pretty clear that water is going to get in. And I don't know if maybe they thought the water would run around that and never go inside that hole where the wires are, and never work its way down inside here and go into that hole where the wires are. And then this piece here on the top, which is supposed to be a swivel, you can see they just blew a hole right in there. I don't know if they drilled that or it was already in there. I feel like they just drilled it in. Yeah, I think that's what happened. And this piece here is not, it looks like that's not actually, yeah, no, it's not focusing. All right, the camera's going blurry on me, so. All right, I'm going to stop the video and restart it. So I'm fairly certain that water is going to get in here. And another interesting feature of this camera is it has these deep ruts here to hold water. I don't know why. They're just deep ruts. So I don't know what this is going on with that. There's no holes in there or anything. Then you have two deep holes here. And I shined a light in there, and I guess that's also to hold water. Yeah, it just looks like it's probably a riser for a screw or something. You can't really see in there, but it's just a really long hole. It goes like all the way down here. So the light's going to be tilted down like this, and that's going to fill up with water. These are going to fill up with water. So I'm just kind of puzzled. I'm used to seeing this sort of thing, though. It's just, you know, I guess they did the best they could. So what I want to do is check the waterproofing, because I don't want to go to all the trouble to put these lights up on my shed, which is where I'm trying to put them. I need some light out there. You can't see anything. And find out they have no waterproofing. So I'm trying to identify any flaws to see, is it something I can fix? So I'm just going to go ahead and take apart these brand new lights to see what's in them and see what kind of waterproofing they have, if any. Yeah, that's a complete fail, because there's going to be water. This is, I don't know. It's almost like this was designed to be a swivel, or maybe it's designed to be adjustable. You know, but not in real time. You know, maybe you're supposed to turn this thing here. Let's see if we can do that. I mean, this is really hokey, but let's just give it a try. Maybe you're supposed to turn this. Maybe that's for a 90-degree fit. We'll see if that's... Yeah, it could be what it's for. So I'd rather have this bump here at the top. I don't want that down at the bottom, because if water gets in, that's going to make a pool at the bottom. So really, you want this fat part of the solar panel to be up, not this way, but this way, because you know there's going to be some kind of electronics in here probably. So let me see if I can just let me just test this out. Maybe I can work with these lights. So this is a common problem with solar lights. More than half of them are absolute junk. Some of them are actually quite expensive. So I don't like to complain about problems without proposing a solution. First is make sure that they're not lying and they're actually made out of metal. The ones that are made out of metal are usually much better. I have a lot of solar lights. I'm really into it. The second thing is make sure, well, the second solution is actually stop buying toy solar lights, which is what these are, they're toys. Look on certain sites for solar street lamps, solar street lights. Now those lights are usually $100 or more, and I own at least one. I've also made my own, and they're made out of all metal, and they have large solar panels, larger batteries, and they put out a lot more light, and they're also a lot heavier and a lot bigger, and they're unsightly. However, these aren't exactly the best looking either. I mean, you don't want stuff like this hanging all over your shed, really, if you can get away with it, but I don't have a choice. So, but I still can't stop buying small solar lights like this. I hate stuff that only lasts a year and then the sun bakes it. This solar panel, who knows? I don't know what type it is. There's two different kinds that I know of. One of them doesn't last more than a few years. The other one can last longer. Who knows what this is? It's not glass. The second thing is when you buy a solar light, look for solar panels that are actual real polycrystalline or monocrystalline crystalline glass encapsulated cells with an aluminum frame. Now, if they have a plastic frame, as long as they have a glass and epoxy encapsulation, that's usually a sign that, well, first of all, you know the solar panel is going to last ages, whereas this, who knows? So it looks like I would be able to at least 90 degree the solar panel, because what I want to do with this is I want to have the light going this way, but the sun is coming in from here. You know, and I hate solar lights that you have to aim the light wherever the sun is. That doesn't make any sense. You should be able to aim the light wherever you want and then aim the solar panel wherever you want. And that's certainly what this light looks like. It looks like you can just aim this wherever you want. Well, you can't. So now that I've determined that I can at least somewhat swivel the panel by 90-degree increments, which I guess is better than nothing, the next problem is, what about the waterproofing? Okay, so due to my camera setup and everything, I'm having to do digital zoom. I'm pretty sure it's digital zoom, and so it's not going to be as best quality. But it's just a solar light, and I've taken the screws loose, and I want to see what's inside. And what's funny is there's nothing. There's just a hollow, empty box. It's really hilarious. I paid over $25 for these lights, plus I had to pay the taxes and all that. And however, there's a rubber gasket around the perimeter of the light bezel here. But you can see all that's it right there. I'm guessing that's the motion detection right there. But there's a huge problem here. So you got this big hollow box, and it's all sealed. But there's a hole in the top, and I know water's going to get in there, and I know it's going to fill up over a period of months, and all the water's going to come right down here on these electronics. So total epic fail. These lights are just epic fail as far as the design. The electronics might be suitable, but the actual design of the housing is just a complete failure. And water will get in. It's only a matter of time. So now I'm just kind of, I got to figure out some way to keep water from getting in the top, and then I'm probably going to drill a hole. That may sound a bit hilarious, but sometimes the best thing you can do is just drill a hole in the housing so that the water has somewhere to go. I hate doing that, and I hate lights that are designed that way, because these could be so much better. It's, you know, what's really tempting is just to ditch the housing and use my own aluminum housings, because I have housings that are aluminum. They have silicone gaskets and they have glass lenses, and I could just put this inside, make my own light. But I don't really have the freedom to do things like that right now. So basically, I just wanted to show you what's inside these lights. And if you see a light like this, just buyer beware. This is what you're getting. I don't trust the longevity of this light. One of the problems here is, you know, had they done it correctly and left this piece here and actually molded this into the case so that it rose up, what would happen is the water would come down. Remember, this is going to be tilted. water would come down here. Of course, water is going to get all over this thing. So there's no need to be naive. Water will get all over, in and around this thing. It's going to come right here, and it's going to come up and seep in here. See, water tends to seep. And believe me, if there's a way in, water will always come in. If you're a roofer and you built roofs and worked on roofs, you know that if there's a way in, water will find it. If there's a tiny little leak on your roof, even a pinhole, water will find it. It will get in. So water's going to come in under here. And look at that little tiny flange there. Now I'm supposed to trust this little tiny flange here to keep water from working its way up that's flowing down this case here when it rains. To keep it from coming up in there, I don't think so. It'll get in. It'll only take a few hard rainstorms for the water to work its way up inside. Go down in this hole, fill up this case, and then of course since the case is tilted downward like this, where's all that water going to end up pooling? The answer is it's going to pool right there and start filling up, and it's just going to corrode out this whole circuit board, which has no conformal coating on it that I can see. No, it doesn't have any coating on it. And you know, even if it did, it's still a flawed design. Now, I believe it said somewhere in the listing you could replace the battery, but I'm not sure. And I know the battery's probably right in there. The solar panel, you know, my guess is there's a hole underneath in this case, and there's some glue. I'm sure water someday will probably get in, but at least this is tilted, and the water will hopefully just run out. Hopefully before it can get in behind the panel, it'll just run out. If you tilt the panel like that, you know, the hope would be most of the water, if not all of it, will mostly just be shed off. Of course, if you let it sit upright like that, then the water will sit on top and it'll slowly seep in. So when you think about solar lights, think about, you know, how you build a roof of a house. You don't want water sitting. You want water to stay moving until it hits the ground. You know, until that water is off the roof, there's a risk of infiltration of water. So I don't know where this video is going to go, but I wanted to show everybody what's inside this type of light. Because think about it. You see a lot of things online. They look a certain way. This is a very impressive looking light. But now you just saw what was inside. Not so impressive. Not so impressive. And that way, you know, people who are just wanting to be informed, they can see, you know, if that's the kind of light they want to buy and pay over $25 a piece for, that'd be up to them. Now, I'm kind of an engineer and enthusiast, and I kind of like fixing things, so I'm going to hang on to these lights even though I feel like I got ripped off. I'm going to hang on to them, and I want to see what I can do to fix the flaws, and then, you know, I don't know if I'll be able to, how far I'll be able to go, but I will post my attempt at fixing these lights when it's done. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I will make a short clip about what I think I will do to fix these lights. Okay, so here's what I think I'm going to do. The front of the light has a rubber gasket, and it's going to be aiming down. The only place that has openings is the top, and of course where this plastic face plate fits in. Now I really don't worry too much about the rubber gasket because it's not like it's facing up. It's going to be facing down, so most of the water is going to rush past. It's not going to try to seep in too much. So my number one concern right now with the light housing is this hole. And how am I going to waterproof that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this light up to be my 90-degree light because I need one light that has a 90-degree panel on it. I'm going to change it so that this rubber button area has the battery, no doubt it has a battery and who knows, a charging circuit. I'm going to flip the panel around so that this is up as high as I can get it. That allows me to get a better angle on the panel because, you know, the way they came from the store, they have this rubber button here. That's a button to turn the lights on. It doesn't allow you to tilt the light all that much. It's just really goofy. It's hokey. So if I can at least turn it around, that gives me many more degrees of tilt, which I need. Because the way I'm going to use these lights, I need to tilt the panels. This light I haven't taken apart yet. This is how it came from the factory. I haven't done anything to it. I gotta say, these are nice looking lights though. If only they were made out of metal like they said. But anyway. So I'm going to fasten this down in at the angle I want. Put the screws in. Actually, yeah. See, they've already drilled a hole. And it looks like maybe at some point they intended this to be a swivel. I really do suspect that they intended this to be a swivel of some kind, and it just didn't work out. Because there's a lot of stuff in here. It looks like, you know, it looks like they meant it to be adjustable. Like almost like on a ratchet or a tension system where it would click and have detents. It almost looks like that was their intent, you know, and it just went horribly wrong. There's a close-up of, well, the camera will focus, There's a close-up of the mechanism, and it just really strongly looks like they wanted to make a detent system, and it just didn't work out. Who knows what this is? I'm half laughing, I'm half crying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten the solar panel down. It's going to be this way. There's already 2 holes drilled in there for the screws. I'm going to attempt to reassemble it, put the screws back in. Okay, so let me put it together, put the screws back in the way I mentioned, and then I'll show you what I'm going to try to do to waterproof it. Okay, so I got the solar panel on, and indeed it looks like you can adjust it if you have desire to work with your hands and take things apart that are brand new that you just bought. I know most people don't want to do that. They just want to, have a light, put it on there. They just don't have time for all that. So now that I've got the panel sort of, well, I wish I could still aim it, but I can't. But anyway, it's better than nothing, because the light is going to be aiming like, let's say this is the horizon of the shed. The shed is like this. I want to aim it a little bit down. Yeah. I mean, it won't matter if the panel's a little tilted to the sun. The sun doesn't care. It's going to hit the panel anyway. So now my problem is this huge vulnerability of water intrusion. You know water's going to get in there. It's a fact. How do I stop that from happening? I can't rely on this bottom here to redirect the water out and around. Kind of like a riser on a roof or a pipe, a vent pipe or something. It would have a riser around it, and then the water would flow down the roof and go around it. And instead of going up, it won't go up. But unfortunately, that fails too, because inside of here, you have that piece that we saw, the round piece, and it's not even molded to the case, and there's very little lip around the opening to keep water from getting in. So I can't rely on that either. So this side, yeah, so there's definitely going to be water all around this area. So this whole area here is extremely vulnerable. So what I got to do is figure out how to waterproof this, and if I can't, I'm going to have to just abandon it. I'm just going to salvage the light. I'm going to take the electronics out, and I'm going to use my own aluminum housing. I don't have a choice, because I know these lights are just going to sit out there, fill up with water, and fail. And it's no wonder I haven't seen this before. I wonder if they get a lot of complaints on these lights. I'm starting to wonder that. I can't be the only one. I wonder how many people have opened these up. So what I could do is I could take some isopropyl alcohol and just really clean this plastic, and then I could let it dry, and then I could put RTV or silicon sealant or something all the way around here, and just really go crazy with it. I mean, just put huge blobs of RTV silicone all the way around here, and then just let it cure and let it dry. And then be careful not to move the panel after I do that. Then I could take aluminum metal tape, and I could fasten it around here and make a skirt or a curtain. Just come up here, because the main thread of water is going to be from this direction. The light will be tilted this way. Just make a skirt out of aluminum metal tape. Come up here, around here, and over here. So like this. Just let it sit like that, and that way it will keep this whole area here from getting direct water rained on it. That, of course, that's no guarantee that water won't get inside the case. And just another look inside the case. Like I said, it's totally sealed except for that hole in the top. So, yeah. I guess after a couple of months I could go outside, take these screws out, and open it and see if water comes out. That's probably what I'll do. So just put these lights up somewhere, and then let it rain on it, let it do what it's going to do, and then after a few months I can just open it and look inside. Okay, so I wasn't sure where this video was going, but I figured it out for now. This is just going to be a buyer beware for the moment. I'm just going to put this video up as a buyer beware. I've seen these lights around. I know people are buying them, and they probably don't know how they're designed. They're just not designed for outdoor use. If it was under an awning, yeah. But then how would the sun get on the solar panel? So, big failure. So this is going to be a buyer beware. Just a FYI, look what's inside. It's not well designed. It has flaws. I don't think these lights would last. And the thing about when I pay my hard-earned cash to buy something like this, I don't want to just throw it out in the rain and let it die for fun. That's not fun to me. I work hard for my money. I don't want to waste it. I paid over $50 for this set of lights. So I'm upset. So I don't want to just waste them. So I want to do something about it. So the best thing I can do is post a video showing everybody how they're built. And then the other part of my return on investment would be just to learn about how to waterproof lights that have design flaws. And by the way, I forgot to mention, you see where the wires are going through, if my camera will focus. So there's wires, 4 wires going through there. Of course water is going to get in there. I mean, it's just obvious. Of course it's going to go in there. It's going to go right down the wire. Guess what water does? It follows wires and pipes. So if water gets in there, it's just going to slowly seep in, go down here, and slowly fill up this case, which they kindly thought put a rubber gasket here to make sure that water never gets out. And it just slowly fills up. And by the way, I have a small LED spotlight that was supposed to be very waterproof, made out of aluminum. And guess what? Within less than 2 or 3 months, it started to fill up with water. So that's what happens. You'll look at the front, you'll just see water coming up like this. And when you see that, it's already over. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. I paid for these lights and I want to use them for something. So I'll post this as a buyer beware video. And if I have any success with these lights, I will make a video about that separately, but not as a recommendation to purchase, more of a curiosity for those who like working on things and fixing things. So that's going to be the end of this video. I hope it helps somebody. And, you know, it's the least I can do. And a small add-on to this video. There is a potential hack. Now, I don't know for sure, but the hack might be to mount the light in a strange way. So put the solar panel like this, and then let's pretend that this is the sun, this is the side of the shed. If I were to mount it with a slight tilt, like this, that would kind of change the game, because now the water would be less likely to work its way up inside the case. And it would look a bit strange to mount them like this. So this would be the wall of the shed, and then the light would be kind of angled down and kind of angled out, probably. And you could probably give it a bit of a twist that way. Now that would improve the likelihood that water didn't get inside. Wouldn't be any guarantee, but it's a lot better. If you angle everything just right, you might just barely, if you get the angle right, because you don't want it to be this way. You don't want water going in the solar panel. So a hack for this light might be to mount it in a strange way, such as this. So normally it's supposed to be upright, but you could mount it like this, possibly with a slight twist that way, and then the panel also would go that way. And then it might work. And of course the mount is actually, I didn't show the mount, but the mount is not a problem from what I can see. It's plastic, but it has a lot of adjustability, so I don't have a problem with the mount. So that might be another option. And then of course the third option is to take the electronics out. This panel can be removed. The electronics here are very minimal, and just put this inside a better case. So I hope this video helps somebody, or is at least interesting or entertaining, and I thank you for watching. And yet one more small addition. Another hack may actually be to remove the panel and simply mount the light upside down, facing down. So the panel will be completely removed. The housing of the light will be flipped upside down 180 degrees. So this is the sky right here. Just aim it down a little bit. Everything else is sealed. This hole would be on the bottom, so no water could, other than condensation. And then this solar panel here, you would just have to find another way to mount that. But you know what? I can do that. It's doable. It has mounting points on it. There's holes there for screws. So I wanted to throw that in too. So once again, thank you for watching.